Okay, Kathy, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hey guys, my name is Kathy Lamb. I'm currently pursuing a bachelor's degree at UB and law school. My upline is Muhammad Khan. This evening, I'll be your host. The idea behind this call is to get efficient at the first two basics combined with the knowledge from the function to launch and propel your business forward at a faster pace. We all just got back from the function, so let's take our excitement and blow this business apart. There will be an amazing line of speakers coming up, so please turn up your videos, mute your mics, and take lots of notes. And the first speaker coming up, his name is Tirth Patel. He'll be starting the panel. He's currently a business major, and he's gonna go to law school. So yeah, so everyone help me, please help me welcome Tirth.
Thanks for the awesome introduction, Kathy. I'm actually going to be talking about something else. I'm going to be talking about building up your list. So specifically, I'm going to first start off with what the heck is your list? So in our business, we're a people business. So if you don't have people, you don't have a business. But these people are categorized in three lists: your A, B, and C list. Your A list is essentially the people whose house you can just go into randomly at the middle of the night, like 2 a.m. basically, go into their fridge, eat some food, and then just say, hey, what's up? So those are like your very close friends, family, stuff like that. Your B list, those are your acquaintances. So let's say that one guy from high school who you might have played rugby with, but like you don't really talk to him on like an everyday basis. Like those kind of people are your B list. Generally, they are people who you know of and they know of you, but you don't have like as tight of a relationship as you would as with your A-list people. And your C-list is quite literally everyone else. So everyone you meet in your daily life. Like let's say you're going to Tim Hortons or like let's say you're on a jog and you meet some random guy on the jogging track and you all of a sudden like have a good conversation with him. That's an example of the C-list. So why should you write all these names down? Now, generally, the reason why we write all these names down in the specific A, B, and C list is due to the fact that we want to keep track of our business. So sure, you can go ahead, show plans here and there all the time, but once your list starts getting, once your list is large, and also not even that, once you start showing like a larger number of plans, in let's say 2 or 3 a month, then you'll want to keep track of those people. And also, more importantly, not even just keeping track of it for yourself, but also for your upline as well, so that your upline can look at oh look, like Tirth, like Shabir is looking at my plans, or Mohammed's looking at my plan list. Oh look, Tirth showed a plan to Naz. Naz said this. I wonder what happened. Let's ask Tirth about that plan. And so that way your upline can keep track of your activity and also you can keep track of your activity in a very organized fashion. Then the next thing you want to do when making up your list is you want to split it through the global markets and the US market. So currently we're working in the United Kingdom, Australia, India, France, Germany, Canada, and of course the great US of A. So you want to split up your list in these countries just because it keeps it easier. I mean, we are a global business, and also it would suck if you're calling someone thinking they're in Buffalo and you find out that they're actually in Germany. So it makes it easier for you to keep your business in these specific categories, so you know which business at which time you're currently working on. Now, some really relevant BSM tracks that you can listen to before making calls are Gaurav and Sapna's Emerald Story, and also I Just Showed the Plan by Rocky Covington. Now, first of all, before I even talk about them, why on earth should you listen to a BSM before you make a call? Reason being is because these are very highly successful people who've gone through literally every and all struggle you can think of in the book that you feel like you're the only one in the world going through. I mean, that's how I felt, and then all of a sudden I listened to a BSM. Next thing you know, it's like, oh crap, someone actually already has gone through this and has the answer to it. So specifically, Gaurav and Sapna's Emerald Story. One thing that really sticks out in this Emerald Story is that it shows you that you could be in this business for, let's say, in Gaurav's case, 2.5 years, do nothing, start doing something, and then you can still succeed in this business. Because we all know Gaurav and Sapna today are the awesome uplines who are going diamond soon. Like they are our diamond going uplines, and this is their emerald story. So basically, this emerald story tells you exactly how they built up their list and how they built up their team. Specifically, Gaurav talks in great detail about writing down his goals, writing down all of his dreams and aspirations. So in a similar fashion, writing down his business and also going through and listening to his uplines and getting all the mentorship that needed to grow his business further. So basically, the main point of Gaurav and Sapna's emerald story was that as long as you don't give up within the business, you are going to constantly make progress. And not even that, as long as you stay in constant connection and relationships with your upline, you will get the constant feedback that you require. So next up is I Just Showed the Plan by Rocky Covington. So I'm going to talk about a specific moment within this VSM. Rocky Covington speaks about a time where he was actually going up in the mountains to show a plan. Now, basically, Rocky Covington has a really interesting story where he speaks about how listening to Bill Britt for the first time, seeing one of his ideas actually get called up to talk with Bill Britt and such. But basically, Rocky Covington talks about the struggles that he had showing plans. So, for example, his one plan that he had where he was going up a mountain, this man drove up in his new Mercedes-Benz up a mountain to only show a plan, and by the time he finished the plan, 10 inches of snow have already covered up. Most people would be like, oh, shit, like, I can't exactly go to my next plan now. This man was crazy enough to say, okay, let's go and show the next plan. Also, more importantly, this man didn't make any prejudgments when he's showing his plan. He showed the plan to whoever he could. In this case, he also gives another example of building a plan with a C-list, where he meets a man on the sidewalk, talks with him, creates a relationship, and then shows him the plan. Main point of that BSM was show the plan to as many people as you can, but in the most professional fashion, as well as getting the upline mentorship that you need to show the plan. Anyways, I've gone way over time, so thank you to the timers for telling me that, and also thank you Mohammed for giving me the opportunity to speak on this call, and I'll give it back to the host.
The next speaker coming up is Alishan.
All right, this is my cue, guys. Thank you, Kathy. Great talk there. I'm going to try my best to kind of lead from that. So what I'm going to be talking about, guys, is the process of making phone calls. Now, I know I had some trouble in this. Mostly my troubles started coming up at 3-4 months into the business when I was trying to get as many people as possible, try to start up as many people as I could. Now the troubles I'm going to talk about later, and I'm going to talk about why those troubles occurred in my career, if that's a good word. Now, how do you give a call to the lists that you've created, the people in your lists? Okay, so what I say, and of course, check upline. Everyone has their own version. So I've worked with Mohammed on this. What I say is, hey, I'm working on an online project to make a supplemental income. All the back end services are covered. I'm looking for people to expand on the front end. Does this seem like something you're capable of? Now, these sentences just didn't just come up like, from the air. What you're telling them is, you're not saying, hey, is this something you might be interested in? That kind of gives them a yes, no option, kind of gives them the authority. What you're saying is, hey, I'm kind of giving you this opportunity. I'm kind of in authority. Is this something you're capable of? And that's a more, posture way of saying this. And it kind of alerts them to, hey, this is serious. Especially when you're talking to your A-lists, right? For example, when I was calling my A-list, for example, Moise, right? He's my uncle. I called him up. Hey, I've come across this great opportunity, making supplemental income. Are you interested? If you're going for a C list, what you need to do is first, as Tirth said, establish a relationship with them. Okay, you really need to connect with them in order to relate this information to them. Otherwise, because you're establishing a trust source, right? Now, why do you have to establish this trust source? Now, there are two components in a phone call. One is, the fact that they trust you. The other is, if you're, the crowd of this call is mostly people who are, starting up, who are a few months into the business. For these people, you need to establish a success story, a success connection, and that's your upline. Now, how do you bring your upline into this conversation? Now, what I say is, if they say yes to what I said before, then I'm like, hey, awesome, let's set up a time to catch up. My senior partner is helping me expand the business. In my case, his name is Muhammad Khan, a graduate from the University of Buffalo. Okay. He graduated in dual, major of mechanical and aerospace engineering. He works for Northrop Grumman, a Navy defense contractor, as an engineer. Then you start, now this was an intro, then you start edifying him, right? You say, I say, he's on his way to build $250,000 revenue, right? Just a year out of his graduation. Okay. He has business in 5 countries. So, please take his time seriously. Ask any questions you have, and, he'll just get to know you. So, you just kind of edify him. It's very important because you need the person to be able to trust your upline as well. You're the trust source. He's the success story that you're bringing in. Okay. Now, again, what's the mindset that you have to make a phone call with? Now, a lot of times what I did was I used to be like, hey, can you please, I need people in my network. Can you please come in and join, right? That is not the mindset you should be in, because that makes you desperate. What's actually happening is you're actually offering them the opportunity. Okay, again, you're in control, right? So you shouldn't be the one who's begging. They should, you should make the conversation such that they're kind of serious about this opportunity. Okay. Also, you don't have to tell them anything specific about the business in the phone qualification, right? Imagine, why is it called phone qualification and not a Starbucks meetup, right? Imagine you walking to Starbucks, sitting down with them, ordering a cup of coffee, and sharing this opportunity with them. You say your few sentences, and he or she says yes. Okay, I'm interested. Now you're like, hey, let's set up a time. You meet for 2 minutes and then you leave. Like, that doesn't make sense at all, right? What you need to do is you call them up, because the phone qualification needs to be maximum 2 minutes. If it exceeds that time, it's something extra that you're putting into the conversation. Okay. What are some of the common questions that I have gotten? Hey, when I tell them about, I'm expanding the team, there's this, do you think you're capable of this? Hey, what are you doing? What is this about? Can you tell me more? Right? All of these questions, maybe Nasser might be able to kind of answer in detail. But what I say is, you're not supposed to answer all these questions, because imagine, like, if you're asked that and you say, hey, I'm doing Amway. Hey, what's Amway? And then you say a few things about Amway. Hey, what's this? What's that? Then you get a lot of questions about things that you don't want to answer in the phone call. That's what the plan is for. Okay. And just to kind of wrap up, a small tip is to smile, right? In one of the BSMs, Rashmi was talking about his journey, and he said Ganesh told him that, you should smile when you're making the phone call. And he's like, why? They can't see me. Ganesh said, hey, they can't see you, but they can feel it, right? So your emotions are very apparent in your phone call. Okay. Now, just some BSMs to help you understand this better. 4 Basics by Kumar is a great one. IBO Mindset, also by Kumar. These two talk about, 4 Basics concentrate on the phone qualification. He talks about ABC lists very effectively. IBO Mindset, again, talks about the mindset you should be in. And handling objections is by a couple leaders. Check upline for that. And I'm done, and I'll pass it over to the host.
Hey guys, the next speaker is Nasser. So yeah, go ahead, Nasser.
All right. Like I said, my name is Nasser. I'm a student at UB studying mechanical engineering. Will be graduating by the end of this year. I'm looking forward to that. So my question is divided into some questions, and I will be just briefly going over all the questions. Okay. So the first question that I got is that how to answer the really general question. What is the project about? Okay. Now that is like one of the most common questions because everyone wants to know what is the project about actually. And don't freak out because it is a normal questions to ask. Now the answer is pretty much the same for new, old, veteran IBOs. It is I say is it is an e-commerce project, and the whole goal is to make extra money, or the whole goal is to make supplementary income, or something along those lines. Okay. Now, if the person asks you the same question again and again, the rule of thumb is that you answer it the same way as well. Just paraphrase it in a different way. Okay, you don't have to, like, if you hold your ear from this side or that side, it's the same thing. Okay, and so now the other question, so why do you do that actually? So because it keeps you on top of the conversation. You want to be in grasp of your conversation. You want to know where you're standing. You don't want to give out your business to the person you're inviting because they will just crumple it like a paper and throw it in a garbage can. No one wants your guests to do that. Okay. Now, how to invite someone to the open meeting? That is the other question that Mohammed wanted me to answer. And how do you edify the open meeting? Okay, so if the person you're inviting, first of all, ask them if they're available at that time. And if they are, then it's great. Then you can say, hey, since you are available at this time, why don't you come to this information session that I have arranged? You can come over there and meet the team and have a more in-depth perspective. Okay. Now you can say these exact words or paraphrase them according to the level of the business that you're at. Okay, and that way you would also be able to meet the team. Why not? Good. Now then let them also know that you have a guest pass set up, because that actually tells them, hey, it is a serious thing. And how do you edify an open meeting? That is really important, because if you don't put enough weight to the open meeting, the guest will take it very lightly. Okay. Now there are many ways to edify it. I usually edify it indirectly by telling your guests, hey, wear a suit, come wearing a formal dress, because that tells them, hey, it is a serious meeting and everyone will be wearing a suit. And if they don't come in a suit, they will be feeling a bit out of the place. You don't want your guest to feel that. The guest doesn't want to feel that too. Okay. And or you can tell them, hey, be accountable, come on time, because if you don't do that, chances are you will be sitting outside while I am inside, or you will go home. That is one way to say that you have posture. Okay, and that is pretty good as well. Or you can tell them about the guest speaker. For example, if the guest speaker is Muhammad, for example, then you can say, hey, the guest speaker is his name is Muhammad Khan. He has dual degree from UB studies, did like mechanical and aerospace. He's currently working for the Navy. In addition to that, he put up a $250,000 business. Along those lines. Okay. And one of the other questions that Mohammed asked me. So, for example, many a times some people won't be available at the time of the open, and that's fine. So if you're new and you're working with a coach, then you have to edify your upline or the person you're working with. Okay. Now, how you edify them is by telling your guest or the potential business partner about your coach's academic / professional background first, and then telling about the success they have achieved in the business. For example, I'll take the example of Srija. For people who don't know, Srija will be Q12 by the end of this fiscal year. So you can say, so the person who's coaching me, her name is Srija Nair. She's a double master's. Talking about double master, which is Muhammad. She is double master's. She has a master's in electrical and industrial, and she is projected to do $1 million business by the end of this calendar year. That is pretty cool. Okay, so that is how you edify your upline. That's the direct way. Now, indirect way is that when your coach starts showing the plan. For example, when let's say Muhammad is showing the presentation, you listen to them. Pay attention to what they're saying and how they're showing it. See their body language, because at one point you will start showing your own plans as well, and that is like a major milestone. And take notes. That is important as well. Also, don't check your phone for text messages or calls, because that tells your guest that you are not serious. You're not taking your coach's time seriously. And why would your guest or the potential business partner take your coach's time seriously? So that is a big no-no. Okay. And now the plan is all done. Everything is set. You have set up a follow-up time. Now the time between the plan and the follow-up is usually between 1 to 2 days in most common cases. Now, and most of the questions will also come during that time. If you don't get a long text message in like an hour from the plan, you are in good hands. But usually you'll get some questions like, hey Nasser, what do you exactly do? Or how much money have you made? And how much work have you put in? And how long have you been doing it? And can you explain it to me right now, right here? In fact, explain it to me yesterday. Now, that is, if they're asking questions, that is good, because they are thinking that. Okay. Now, the best strategy, if you are new or are uncomfortable in answering those questions, you can call them up. Don't text them back. You can tell them, hey, that is a great question, or those are amazing questions. Why don't you write them down? My coach Muhammad and I will answer those questions for you when we sit up for this time on this day. Why don't you sit on those questions for the time? Okay. And if they say yes, that's amazing. You don't have to answer them if you're new or uncomfortable answering them. Okay. With that, what else can I have? So let's say you showed 10 plans and only 3 people start up. What do you do with the rest of the 7 people who didn't start? They said no. Okay, so some of the people from those 7 people will be extremely negative, that they will hold a special webinar for you just like this and be like, take you out of the whole system. Don't stay away from those people, and not in a bad way, because they are good friends. They might mean good for you, but they don't know what you're going for, and they will say it's not worth it. But if you put in a time and it is worth it in that. Okay, so for people who are a bit less persuasive or a bit less negative, you can either do 2 things. You can either make them a customer, which is you can say hey, since you are not willing to be a business partner, why don't you help my business by becoming a customer? You're already buying these things from these stores. Why don't you buy them from a website? Or you can say, why don't you can ask them for referrals. Now referrals, you can just do the same thing. Hey, since you won't be starting or you won't be joining my team, why don't you share the names and numbers of the people who are ambitious as me, or who are willing to look at the project or are willing to partner with me? Okay, excuse me. And that is how you ask for referrals. Now, understand that not all people will start. There is a reason why entrepreneurs are the minority. For example, I was just looking at this today in fact. Elon Musk, he owns Tesla, right? He employs 33,000 people in that company alone. That is amazing. See, he is one who has influenced 33,000 people to build his dream. Okay, now you want that kind of person. You don't want 1,000 people to influence one person. You want one person to influence 1,000 people. Okay, now there are a couple of CDs or audiobooks that Muhammad or any of your coaches recommend. The CDs that I recommend are Postured Every Level by Rashmi and 4 Basics. 4 Basics come from multiple speakers. Ask your upline, how can you get a hold of them? With that, my time's up. I would like to bring up Abdul. Abdul will be graduating with me by the end of this year as well. With that, in fact, physics major. With that, Abdul, it's all up to you, man.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Abdul here, like Nasha said. Great talk, Nasser. I joined a little bit late, but just the dense nuggets, just dense nuggets, Um, but yeah, that's great. What I'm here to share is I'm here to see, I see we have a good amount of people on the call tonight. I'm here to see, who I know the function just passed recently, summer conference, and I'm here to see whose first time it was, at summer conference. And like me personally, I know it just happened. Like, oh yeah, now to put your hand down.
It was my first summer conference.
Oh, first summer conference. Okay, yeah, we can do that too. First summer conference, first function all together. Um, you want to share your name, upline, and just one line of excitement. Like I'll start with myself. Like obviously my name's Abdul again. Upline is the top of the pyramid, Muhammad Khan over here. And honestly, one of my favorite parts was when Ali and Maka spoke in the beginning in like the first session on Friday. I feel like some machine gun going off, in the crowd. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, I think we just want to take a couple minutes here right now to just pass the mic along, and whoever first time it was can share the name, upline, and one line of excitement. Anyone can start. Let me pick on some people. Pick on some. Okay.
Hi, my name is Rashab. My upline is Ali Shan. Right, he's on the call. Hello, Ali Shan. Yeah, so one of the most this event was actually probably one of the most inspiring things that I've been to in a while. The most inspiring being actually Rashmi's talk, and also at the same time Raj Shah's talk. Rashmi's talk definitely was like a machine gun going off into the crowd, But then Raj Shah's talk was more of a resolution sort of thing, saying that like after all the hard work, this is what happens and this is what you experience. So in the end, it all matters. So that was definitely something really cool. Anybody else?
If you guys too quiet, I'm gonna start picking some people out. Trust me, I know who's been there, who's not been there.
Hi guys.
Go. Oh, never
Oh,
mind.
you go.
No, you sure?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, my name is Theo. My upline's Mohammed. And I guess instead of picking one specific thing from the conference, I'm just gonna say the overall experience of getting to connect with lots of people, meeting new people, spending some time with people I've already met obviously over Zoom, like Mohammed. I finally got to meet him. I don't know, just all of that together, and then just being through the whole learning experience, I guess, of hearing all these, big important people talking, was just eye-opening again, even though I didn't really need it, but just was a positive, re-energizing experience, I think, overall. So that's all I got to say. Yeah.
All right. Hey guys. My name is Jojo. My upline is Alishan. And the favorite thing I learned from this conference is that I got a way closer picture of this business. So I got to look at it in a way bigger picture. And also my favorite talk was from the discussion session, if you guys remember from the first night, when they were talking about all sorts of problems that they encounter and how they deal with it. And they talked about it in a very funny way. So yeah, I really loved it. And yeah, during the conference, you guys offered me a lot of help and guidance. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so I'll pass it to the next person.
Ryan, Jim, why don't you go on? Oh, okay. Leanne.
Oh, okay. Hey guys, it's Leanne. Upline Shabir. A lot of things. What I really liked about the conference was that I met so many new people. I had no idea. I feel like JoJo. I never met you, and then we became super good friends. So that was really cool. Yeah, and with Kathy too. So I thought it was really cool. We just met each other the first day, a couple hours, just arrived in Dayton. And we became really good friends the last, the whole time. And I thought it was really cool. So you guys meet some new people, make some new friends. I really liked the panel. I had like a lot of notes from the panel on the second day, the men's and the women's panel. Gave me like a lot of ideas and like what I at the conference just opened my mind to like a different like mindset like completely. So it's just like it's kind of eye opening. Yeah. Okay, who's next?
Okay.
Uh,
I heard R Ryan something. Ryan.
Yeah, okay. So my name's Ryan, and my upline Shabir here. Yeah, only one Shabir, and Muhammad Khan. He's also my coach. And it was actually my first time being in such a huge conference like this. It was one of the most exciting events I attended so far, and I liked the environment and the atmosphere, how fired up people were. And overall, I think his speaker was named Ali. He got me very fired up because just by listening to his story, how much trouble he went through to reach the success he has now, it just got me really motivated and more inspired to do this business. At the same time, like listening to Rashmi and Ganesh's story, it showed me how far this business can go. And overall, it also covered a lot of the questions I had in mind, and it gave me a bigger picture of how this business works.
Hi guys, my name is Jim and my appliance is Shabir, and it's also my first time in the conference. Overall experience, it was like a really interesting conference, although at first I feel like I don't feel like excited at all, but when I actually got into the conference, it is actually an eye-opening experience. I don't really remember the speakers' names because like there's a lot of speakers. It is really overwhelming. But there's one topic that really stand out for me when like I think one of the speakers talk about momentum is the leader's best friend, and that one is like really stand out to me. And overall, it kind of re-energized me and it changed my mindset about the business a lot.
Awesome. Nice. Anyone else?
I'm not going anywhere.
You're not going again, Oscar? No? Oh, okay. I think that's pretty much it. Let's see. Yeah, I think just double checking the list. I think that's pretty much everybody. So yeah, that's awesome, guys. I actually want to bring up the next speaker, Shabir. Let's see. This guy is building on the fast track. I don't know what to say about him. He's like one of the fastest growing people in Buffalo. This guy does not know how to quit, you know. You set a goal for him, he'll reach it. He'll claw, scratch, bite, do what he has to do, you know, to get to Shinoy leadership. And yeah, man, look out for him. This guy's on the fast track to silver and up. And off to you, Shabir.
All right, thank you very much, Abdul. I'm just gonna keep it brief, guys, because I know we have the big guns coming up right after me. I want to give them the time to add the most value, since, you know, thanks, Mohammed, for putting me on the call. Again, those of you who don't know me, my name is Shabir. I work as a project manager at Robert Bosch. If I talk too fast, then please raise your hand and tell me. Okay, so the whole purpose of this call today, guys, was basically to give you the next roadmap for the 90 days after the conference. The next conference is going to be October 3rd, I think. The details are out. Now, you know the October 3rd conference is there. Now we know. Now, how will we structure our business in that period of time? Not necessarily is that going to relate to the number of activity work you do. It might be okay to think in the first month that, hey, maybe if I show 100 plans or, I don't know, 50 plans, then I will have a team and I'll do well in the business. Honestly speaking, I had thought that, and it's not true at all. The reason people do well in the business, as you can check with anybody that's built the business big and you've seen them in the conference, is because they know how to manage their distractions. Okay, and a person that's a student has different distractions from a person that's married, and that's a different distraction from a person who's you know, I don't know, somewhere in between. I don't know what that phase is yet, but the idea is that today, what I'm actually talk about some of the distractions that affected me, and honestly speaking, the biggest businesses have been built by people that have overcome the maximum distractions. One example I like to give: who here heard Ali and Maka talk? Okay, now I mean, I don't think I have a distraction of being a refugee in the country. Oh, and also, yeah, on top of that, I don't know how to speak any English.
Oh, and also on top of that, I don't even have any status to get a job. Oh, and also on top of that, practically most of my family members are in Somalia. I don't know anybody here. However, now you might have noticed most of the diamonds had their own stories. They had their own distractions. And we as students, we have them too. Now, obviously, if you're not a student, then it's a little different. Like, I'm not a student anymore. However, I've been there. And so has Muhammad. And so has everybody that's built the business that has started as a student. Guess what? You're not the only one who's a student who has exams. So a couple of things that affected people. You know, they have exams. We get it. You know, exams are the #1 priority. And I know people like Jim and Ryan who actually had a finals week right after the conference. But if I ask them now, and if I ask them that, hey, was the conference worth that time that you spent to go to the conference? They're going to say yes. Why? Because they didn't get there to like just for fun. And it's not like a typical vacation that they took. Sure, if you're taking a vacation in a place instead of a conference that affects your future, sure, go for it. But the idea is that vacation going to come back to you in a year? No. This one, even if you call it a vacation, it's going to come back to you. In my opinion, we have 4 conferences in a year. I call it a vacation. I never call it like a distraction. It's never the case where I went to a conference, I did bad in my school, and it's because of the business. That's what most IBOs that are immature say. Hey, I have an exam next week, and I have a PACE meeting on Friday. That's why I did bad. Never has that happened in the history of the world. And that's what I thought. Like, hey, if Muhammad wants me to come to PACE, why should I come to PACE when I have an exam? Okay, I mean, in specific conditions where I have 3 consecutive exams. Okay? #1, I should know that I have 3 consecutive exams. Syllabus is given the first day of the semester. They don't surprise you. Hey, tomorrow is an exam. It doesn't work like that. They know that these dates are going to be your midterms and this is going to be your final. In fact, that's the first. Some of the schools, they gave those dates out earlier. So you know, hey, 3rd October is the FED and my exam is going to be on the 6th. Instead of me slacking off on the first 10 days of that October month, I catch up and I learn what I have to learn before that month. I'm a step ahead of the people. So I can never go to my upline and say, hey, Muhammad, bro, I have an exam. And there have been times I've missed a couple of meetings. However, when you're a team, you're leading a team, and you do what you're going to do, you're really not going to be able to lead a team and get them out of that problem. Why? Because if I have a guy in my team tomorrow and he says, hey, Shabir, I have an exam next Friday, so I don't think I can meet you for the whole week. What are you going to say? The IBO is going to come back to you and say, hey, man, this guy has an exam. I'm like, really? Does he have an exam? Or were you even talking about the distractions? That, hey, you tell him, hey, this is what happened with me. I thought that I was distracted. And honestly speaking, there's people in this call that study more than me. Leanne is a dental student. Nasser takes 21 credits a semester. I did not take any near that course load. So yeah, did I learn to get the point that, hey, distractions can come and go. That's fine. But the idea is that there can never be a distraction that can stop you from your business growth. If the business is being stunted in that aspect, it's probably not because of your distractions. It's because you're not managing them correctly. You're not managing priorities. So yeah, take some of your movie time away. Take some of your lunch time away. Take less vacations. I used to take a bunch of vacations, but guess when's the last time I've gone to see my own family members in Pakistan? 3 years ago. 3 summer sessions. I'm not saying this to brag. Muhammad's studying more than I have, and I'm sure Leanne works for 80 hours a week. She figured it out. At this meeting today, I found a cardiologist, and he has his own private practice. He works as a doctor. He has calls overseas, and he still shows the plan. He still won 4,000 PV. Not about the time you put, just how you manage your priorities. But does he go to India for fun? Probably not. He has to manage that. Now, the other thing, family and friends. Here's the fun part about business. You may not get support from everybody in your family. You better be okay with that the minute you step into the business world. Just like you choose a career, you may not get the most support from every family member. So let's say Leanne's a dentist. She's doing a dentistry. There might be family members that think, hey man, she can't study that much. What's the point? You're just going to go in debt. But she feels she can do it. Okay? There might be, in your case, there might be people that, hey, we mean well, but, in my case, I had the most, like in this case, you get subtle distractions. I did not get subtle distractions at all. I was banned from leaving from my house after midnight. That was my problem. That, hey, Muhammad, if I have to come back from home, my dad's probably not going to open the door if I'm after midnight. And yeah, if you're in a brown household, that's pretty bad. So yeah, here's what I did. I said, okay, I'll study. I'll get on my parents' good side. I'll do the work that I have to do instead of slacking off during the week. And then at the end of the week, they might be okay if I'm late. That's okay. So yeah, And family and friends, they're gonna mean well for you, but then guess what? Those are the friends that actually supported me. They're customers of mine, or they're in business with me. They might not even be any of that, but then if they're on good terms with me, I still hang out with them. So I don't really understand that they come to me and they're supposed to be fired up just like I am. Like you've seen a conference today, and I think Rick Fairchild said that, hey, when you're gonna get out of here, you're gonna have people tell you stuff that you saw, and they're gonna say you didn't see it, and you're gonna believe them. And I'm like, dude, that's so true. There's gonna be someone tomorrow, like this weekend. I had one guy that said, "Oh, dude, this is illegal. What are you talking about? This bottle's gonna burn you." And then the next day I opened my phone and there was a startup somewhere in my team. I mean, the guy hasn't seen what I've seen, so should I let him distract me? No. That's how I saw it. So I kept my connection with the BWW system strong. And then I understood that, hey, results are not going to come when I'm slow. If I'm consistent for a period of time, let's say 30-day periods, you go to your coach. Say, hey, what do I do to be consistent? Hey, I have to be at this conference. This is my money. This is the $130. Reserve me a ticket so I can go to my team and say, hey, I'm going. Are you going to come with me? But I'm going to go whether you come or not. That's the point. What do you think? Muhammad has to call me at this stage. Hey, Shabir, I want you to go platinum, man. Can you please get your conference ticket and plan your month? No, I do it myself. He knows I work. I work just as much as he does. In fact, sometimes I have to stay till 6 p.m. at my office. It's hard. So yeah, the idea is that it's going to get hard no matter what profession you choose. The idea is that how are you managing distractions? Are you prioritizing your vacation time over a business activity? You might get to do it once or twice. Hey, something happens in your family, you've got to support them, go do it. Okay, like for example, my family, we had a death in the family last week. People were in the funeral. Was I able to go? No, because I had a job. But eventually, God forbid, 10 years from now, if in the case I have a problem that I have to attend to for my family members, I can go do it because I wouldn't be banking on one source of income to keep my livelihood going, right? So the idea is that business is for family. So don't let anybody come to you and your family. They have not seen what you've seen, so you shouldn't be able to say that. Like my dad is a pilot. He flies plane. That's what he's good at. If he's going to come to me and say, hey, Shabir, you're doing good, but I really don't think you're going to make a lot of money from Amway. You're better off being a dentist. That's what he thinks. Why? Because he knows dentists in our family and he thinks dentists live a good, comfortable life, which is fine. Does he know diamonds personally? No. So why in the world would I expect him to tell me something new when I clearly know I have met diamonds that have helped people make hundreds of thousands of dollars in their spare time? To me, it's in front of me. My dad hasn't seen that. So yeah, I'm not going to build it. I'm not going to offend my dad, but then in the end, it's like if he can retire in the next 5 years for the extra $1,000, $2,000 I sent to him, it's for him, right? I mean, I'm building it for my family, and I'm assuming you're doing it for your family too. So yeah, don't let your family bother you in that point. And guess what? If you look at any major billionaire in the company in the world, how many of those family members of those billionaires are in their business? Very few. In fact, this is the only business in the world, or any business world, you're going to see that sometimes strangers are more supportive of your business than your own close family members. Why? Because some of the people that I have in my team, they were complete strangers to me. Guess what? There was one other crazy guy that was a complete stranger to the guy that got invited. And he's talking right now because the coach that he works with had the patience and he invited him a second time without offending him. If he had told me, hey, what do you know about it? No, nothing? Oh man, stay broke. Would I have come to the meeting if he invited me the second time? No. So don't burn bridges. That's the point. How do I use the system to keep me focused? Last thing and I'm done. If you're not in the meeting, you're not going to know enough about the business in the long run to get your business to the next level. That's just what my coach Vinod told me. That, hey, Shabir, I want you to be at a point where if in case you're going to come and you're going to bring a new person to me, they physically know the names of the people that are in the meeting. Guess what? If I have someone, a dentistry student in Leanne right here, if I have a friend tomorrow that I meet who's a dentistry student, but then I wasn't at the meeting where Leanne was, I don't know who Leanne is. Leanne doesn't know my name. But if he does know my name, I can bring my friend to the meeting and say, hey, Leanne, I remember I spoke to you about my friend John. John is actually also a medical professional. What do you have advice you have to say? Because I'm sure you're busy too. How do you prioritize your time? So your system is important. I, even at this point, make sure I listen to BSMs every month, every week, and I never miss a meeting. There was one meeting I missed and I never missed it ever again. Why? Because I treat this business as a profession, because I want a professional income. I don't want $100, $200 income anymore. Sure, in the start, you might think, hey, if it works, $100 is good. But if you want to prioritize your distractions, you decide what you want to do. Go to your coach and check with how you can do it. But then the idea is that 30 days from now, you should have a different conversation with your coach. You should not be calling, hey, are you going to go to PACE? Like, are you going to come to the meeting? Like, you should be able to do it anyway. Good. So with that, I'm done. And I'm going to bring up Mohammed, my own business coach. I thank you for every day for sponsoring me into this opportunity and calling me a second time. If he had not got the patience to call me a second time, none of the business that we built together would have existed. So yeah, I'm going to thank him every day. He doesn't thank me every day from starting. It's me thanking him. So, thank you for everything, Mohammed, you've done for the team. We're going to move big. And then, of course, great work for all the speakers today. Nasser, everybody that spoke for the function. Alishan, great talk. Jojo, great talk. And, I'm really excited for the next stuff in this team. So with that, over to Mohammed so we can wrap up the call. Thank you for everything.
Hey.
Awesome. All right, guys. Very well done. I was actually taking a lot of notes as you guys were talking. So it's funny how I post some of these questions and you guys come up with more amazing things that I wouldn't be thinking of. So, great job, Kathy. Excellent hosting. Tirth, I like the level of detail you went into in all the talks. Alishan, man, you could tell his business is where it is today because of the way he speaks. Then Nasser, Mr. Prime Minister of Pakistan. All right, always keeping the standards high. Abdul, man, thank you for adding the value that you do. And Shabir, again, this guy, he actually just, if you guys don't know, Shabir just got started in, was it France or Germany? I think it's the same market. Which one was it?
Both.
Oh, okay. You got started in both. All right. So actually, Manoj called me the other day and was like, hey, Shabir's getting started in another market, obviously. And I was like, obviously. So you guys are a part of a good team. So I'm going to just kind of, you guys took all my topics, so I don't really know what else to say. Just got to kind of wrap everything up by, again, a lot of you guys are coming out of the function. Okay. Now, the idea of the function, right, was really to do two things. Right. Number one, give you the information that you need to move forward, and really show you that this is much bigger than what you could really explain on a business plan. Okay. So a lot of you guys are excited. A lot of you guys got your questions answered. Some of you guys had gotten more answers than questions. But kind of moving out of there, what you really want to do is think about your 90-day goal. Okay. Any major corporation runs in quarters. Okay. Every quarter they have a status update. They have stock meeting stuff. Even at my company, every quarter we have newsletters and stuff sent out saying, here's the stocks, here's where your 401k is going. Every company does that. Your company should do the same. Okay. So this is the end of the quarter. September starts the new fiscal year. Okay. What you want to have then has to be envisioned today. Okay. If you want to have 10 people at the next quarter, the next function, which is FED, the dates are out, by the way. It's going to be October 6th, 7th. Okay, so that's something you guys can plan around. So what is it that you want to reach by then? I know I had a chance to sit down with a lot of you guys. You guys mentioned 10 people team. I think that's what the majority of you guys were aiming for. Okay, 10 people team. So if that's what you want, then the work starts today. Okay, the mistake I made, my second function I actually went by myself. I had no one there with me. The second function I went to the week before, I was like, man, let's get some people, right? And look at my LOS, no one's registered. Okay, so it's not that my intentions were wrong. It's just I failed to plan. All right, so don't make the mistake I did. Right, don't waste those 3 months like I did. Plan it out now. Okay, and as you're going through, Shabir, all these guys kind of mentioned how to call, how to set up appointments, but more importantly, that have a feedback loop with whoever is helping you out. Okay, one of the things that I did with Vinod is Vinod wasn't there with me all the time. Okay, Vinod, he was always a long distance coach. Right, he would come to Buffalo once a week, but he was about 3-4 hours away. Now he's like 2,000 miles away, but even still, I stay in touch with him over the phone. Okay. Pretty much every couple of days I give him a call, even if it's for 5 minutes, right? I don't ask him about, how was your dinner, all right? What you guys doing tonight, right? That honestly, that's non-productive stuff. Okay, every now and then I do call him, but I talk to him, hey, this is where my business is. This is a question I have. I've done such and such activities. This is what resulted from it. And I didn't hide anything from Vinod, okay? Because what would be the purpose of that, right? Like if I hid something from him and I showed him a false image of where my business is, how can he help me now? Okay, so I was very open. I never kept anything from him. If I really messed something up, I told him straight. Vinod, I did what you told me not to do, and what you said was going to happen happened. There it is. And he wasn't going to affect my ego. He was like, he knew, God, Muhammad, what did you do? But he was like, okay, we are where we are today. How do you move forward? Okay, so have that good feedback loop. Okay, and really, just plan out what you want to do. Okay, success doesn't happen by accident. So a couple of things that I'd recommend. Okay, in this business, again, everything is very, very predictable. Okay, and you could give yourself predetermined checkpoints. Okay, so the end goal right now is the next 90 days. It's Free Enterprise Day on October 6th, 7th, and 8th. Okay, in between that, every city, right? I think we got Buffalo, we got Orlando, Melbourne, Rochester, we got Vancouver, we got Albany, we got Pittsburgh. We got a bunch of cities here. Okay, every city you guys are plugged into, within a mile or so, within an hour or so, there's something called a business building seminar. Okay. If you guys don't know what that is, the business building seminar is basically like the function, except there's only one speaker. Okay, and it's just you and that speaker for about 4 hours. Okay, business building seminars are actually my favorite because what they do is the first half of it, they go over mechanics, just straight up mechanics. Okay, if you guys remember the second night of the function, just imagine that just with one guy for 2.5 hours. Okay, it is every day I pack my notes up. The second half is actually my favorite as well. They talk about their story. They talk about what they did, how they overcame it, and every single BBS I've gone to, everyone has an amazing story. But there's one consistency in all of them. They all really had to pay the price. Everything went wrong. Okay, family didn't support them. Legs were quitting. People made fun of them. Job was threatening them. Family issues overseas. Everything that was possible, and that's what makes it an interesting story. Eventually, you guys will have your own BBSs. Okay, you will be invited by Brit Worldwide when you make it to Emerald and above. Okay, enjoy the struggles you're going through now. Everything's going to go wrong. Okay, but it is those struggles that are going to make that business building seminar where you're going to be invited that much more interesting. Okay, imagine how boring of a meeting it'd be. Hey guys, I got started. I talked to 10 people. They all got in. Yeah, I didn't really have any work. I told them all to do their volume. They all kind of did it. And, they just sponsored 10, 30, 40 people. I went platinum overnight. And, I had some popcorn the next day. And I look at my LOS. I went Emerald. So, yeah, here I am. Right? Who wants to listen to that, right? Right? There would be tomatoes flying everywhere. Okay? So don't be that guy. Okay? So enjoy the struggles. Everything's going to go wrong. Okay? But the people that, just like I forgot who mentioned it, the struggles that you go through, it's those struggles that really determine what kind of business you're going to have. The Amway business in itself is very, very easy. Okay? The hard part is learning how to deal with life. Okay? If you could handle life, Amway is a piece of cake. Right? What else is there to it? You buy what you need, eat your food, feed someone else, and see who else wants to eat food with you. That's it. That's all Amway is. Okay? You do that with 40, 50 people, bam, $3,000. Okay? It's actually not that simple. There's a little bit more involved, but you get the point, right? That's very, very simple, the business itself. Okay? So I'm gonna kind of just leave it at that. Just keep a good feedback loop. Okay? Be open with whoever's helping you, be it Shabir, be it Nasser, whoever it may be. Okay? Be open with the person and really do try to make the effort to kind of step your game up. Okay? If the conversation you're having with Shabir today is about, let's just say, 4 basics. Okay? If that same conversation is happening at FED, you didn't grow in that time. Okay? I would like for you guys to be consciously aware of how your conversation is changing. Okay? When I first got started, my conversation with Vinod was, hey, how do I make a phone call? Right? Like, hey, this guy gave me this question over the phone call. How do I respond to it properly? And that was at the stage of business I was at. Then eventually got to, hey, when I'm showing the business plan, how do I mention this so that I don't get this question? Or how do I cover this concern before it comes up? Okay. Then eventually turned into, hey, listen, I got this guy registered. How do I effectively teach him and kind of bring him up to speed so that he's properly prepared for the future? Okay. And then I kept growing and growing and growing. The conversation me and Vinod have today aren't about 4 basics anymore. Okay. It is much, much different. Okay. When your conversation changes, your business is growing. Okay. If it's the same conversation night in, night out, it's okay. All right. I struggled with my 4 basics for a long time. Okay. Please don't take it the wrong way. I sucked at it a lot. Okay. Vedant, the first guy that I got started that really stuck around was the 119th guy I spoke to. Okay, please don't wait for 119 people. Okay, I realized the reason it took so long was because I was just doing the work, but I didn't really educate myself. Right? I was like, books, I'm here to lead, not to read. I don't need books. All right, so it took me 119 people to find the guy I needed. All right, so don't be that guy. Really understand that if the growth has to happen on the inside before it happens on the outside. Okay, and all these guys touched upon it as well, right? Like learning how to, properly make phone calls and change the conversation. So really do pay attention to that. Okay. With that, I'm pretty much done. I'm really excited about the local BBS coming up. I know all these cities, you guys are going to have amazing growth, and it's because you guys are part of an amazing team. Okay, we're part of Ratan and Shrija. They're going Q12 in the business. They're students. Okay, and through Amway, they make more than I do at my full-time job. Okay. Upline to them is Manoj and Arpita. They're going Emerald this coming fiscal year, starting September. Man, the Emerald income, that is like what my manager makes, even more than that. And he's been working professionally for years now. Okay. Vinod is half his age, and he's making the same income on his side hustle. Okay. Upline to them, you have Gaurav and Sapna who are going diamond. All right, for those of you guys that listen to Gaurav and Sapna CD, the way Gaurav started, he says it himself. He said that if you had sponsored me, you would not have looked at me and ever thought that I'd go anything more than 1,000 PV, and even that by accident. Okay, he's going diamond. Okay, he is going to reach the 1% income earning bracket in the United States. That is a huge deal. Okay, and all this is happening just in this coming year. Okay, this is the team that we belong to. Okay, you guys are part of a top. If there was any LOS I would have ever gotten registered into, I'm glad it was this one. And you guys are all part of that same LOS. So be very proud of it. All right, just stay unified. Right, someone in this team, not everyone is perfect. Me and Vinod don't always agree on everything. We've gotten into arguments. It happens. Okay, but what I did was I chose to look at the higher goal and stay unified irregardless of that. All right. Whoever you're working with is probably gonna. When you work with them long enough, you're gonna figure out exactly what's wrong with them. Okay. If you haven't already, be prepared for it. Okay. That whoever it is, you're gonna realize they have some kind of quirks. All right. Something that just really irritates you. Okay. I know everything that irritates me about Vinod. Okay. Because I've worked with him for so long. Okay. And he knows everything that irritates me too. Okay, because we've been working for so long. But irregardless of that, we chose to stay unified. Okay, and that's how big empires are built. Okay, so happy empire building, and we will see you guys soon.